Angry Birds. We're talking about Angry Birds today. So, if you haven't heard of them, however that's possible, Angry Birds is a game where you get to destroy pig architecture using flightless birds in a slingshot. Pretty fun. And as all things that have a mass popularity and enormous media, it got a massive, shiny, blockbuster, below average film. No offense to anyone who likes this movie, I'm not trying to spread any hate or anything like that. But, as an Angry Birds fanatic, I refuse that this is the best we can get. I demand better. We deserve better. So, I put together several ideas constructing an above average Angry Birds film, crammed in this video for you all to see. But I gotta mention one thing real quick. First off, this isn't a complete redesign of the original film. Second, I'm going to be using the designs for the art in this video of the original Angry Birds game. I know the movies gave them arms and legs and not just severed heads, but for this video, I'm just going to be using the game designs because I'm lazy. I mean, because of the artistic style. No other reason. But yeah, if this film actually did exist, it would use the character designs of the actual Angry Birds film. Anyway, no more stalling. Let's begin the Angry Birds movie Reimagined. We start on Bird Island, where all the birds are about to gather for the golden egg hatching. You see, on Bird Island, birds lay two kinds of eggs. A normal egg, with a perfectly normal baby bird, and a golden egg, which isn't as painful as it sounds. You see, a golden egg contains a baby bird with incredible abilities, gifts, and powers, like being able to split into three, or be able to inflate oneself, or become a bird boomerang. They're crazy, they're different, they're kind of stupid, but they're all loved by the birds. So whenever a golden egg hatches, all the birds come and see what incredible gift the bird has. This new season, a new golden egg is about to hatch. All the birds are gathering around to see what is it going to be. Comes out a baby red bird with weirdly big eyebrows. And they sit and they wait for what incredible gift this bird has. And they wait. And they keep waiting. And they keep waiting. And they keep waiting. Until eventually they realize that this little red bird doesn't have anything special about him at all. This will set our story for this film, and Red's story throughout this film, with him being the only golden egg bird in history to not have any special abilities. And this would make Red angry. Red would spend the beginning of this film acting very similar to how he did in the original movie, being mad and annoyed and angry at everyone who he comes in contact with, except for his one friend, Stella. Who is Stella? Stella is another bird who did come from a golden egg and actually got powers. The power to blow bubbles. Okay, it's cooler than it sounds. Stella is also the only bird that has ever not picked on Red for not having any powers whatsoever. And Stella is also the only bird that Red has ever been able to tolerate. And Red's fine with that, along with not seeing, talking, or even thinking about any of the birds on the island. Until he gets sent to the mayor's court, where they discuss his anger problems. Now, Red denies having anger issues and doesn't really care about his anger issues, or this meeting, or anyone in this meeting. And the mayor responds by asking why is Red so angry in the first place. Could it be his isolation from the rest of the birds? Could it be his differences from the rest of the birds? Or perhaps it sees the only golden egg bird in bird history to not have absolutely anything special about him at all. And of course, this response makes Red angry and humiliates the judge, who's the mayor, by the way. And the mayor responds by threatening Red with the highest penalty that is allowed by all bird law: anger management classes, which makes Red angry. But the mayor threatens him for jail time for every single complaint he's gotten about Red's anger, so he has to go. And this makes him more angry. So he goes home to his punching pillow and tries to get some sleep before an agonizing day. But before he even gets the chance, he hears something outside. He looks and notices something in his trash. He goes out to see what it is, and by the time he does, it starts running away. It's this weird green hairless bird, or something like that. He runs to the forest, and Red tries to follow. And he does, and the closer he gets to it, the stranger it is, and the weird noises it makes, and he has absolutely no idea what he's looking at. He keeps chasing and chasing till eventually he trips on something and loses him. And he isn't sure what it is, but he notices tracks, multiple tracks of a lot of them. And he starts wondering what is going on. Now, he doesn't know it. Stella, at her house, notices Red wandering in the forest. And she also starts wondering what's going on. But for now, Red just has to go back to his house and wait for a painful day of anger management. Which it is. And this scene would be very similar to the original film, with Red going to anger management class and beating up that weird coconut sign bird. That scene could stay the same. And more importantly, he will meet our two side characters, Chuck and Bob. And yes, Matilda and Terrence will still appear in the scene. For the entirety of this scene, Red will be kind of trying to control his anger and definitely failing to control his anger. And end with Bob blowing everyone up. Then Red would try to get home with some unwanted company, Chuck and Bob. Now Red would kindly-ish tell them that he really isn't interested in making friends ever, but before he gets the chance, he again sees a weird featherless green thing in the forest, this time with a bunch of junk on him. He goes to try to investigate what it is and see what on earth is going on. Then Chuck would yell loudly, "What are we doing?" Scaring Red, of course, as Red would try to tell Chuck and Bomb that they need to be quiet. The last thing they need is a big loud noise to scare them all. Then Stella would come around the corner and scare them all. Then Stella would ask why is he with Chuck and Bomb, who, unknown to Red, they were already friends. Red would begrudgingly explain what he saw last night, and as he's explaining what he saw last night, all of a sudden they would start hearing laughter. They go to see what it is deeper into the forest, and they see all the pigs gathering in this abandoned junkyard, all the stuff that they're inventing weird contraptions with. So the birds are seeing them gathering around, and they seem to be surrounding this one pig, Leonard, otherwise known as King Pig. Now, Leonard and all the pigs are trying to think of a plan to steal all the eggs off of Bird Island. To Pig Island. Now, while the pigs are discussing their plans to steal all the eggs, the birds discuss their plans to stop the pigs' plans. While they're discussing their plans, Chuck and Bomb notice there's a camera on the ground. Old-timey kind of camera, and they just start playing around with it. Red tells them to stop goofing around and use the camera to take pictures of all the pigs and their plans. And they do. But when they do, the cameras flash alerts pretty much all the pigs in the facility. So then they start running for their lives. And I think this scene especially will really have a lot of references to the Bag Pig games, my personal favorite Angry Birds games. Gadgets and vehicles where all the pigs will be using to try to catch up with the birds. And almost all of them would collapse the moment they start being useful. So the birds would get away. Then they would go to the mayor, who's planning an Bird Island anniversary party, which I know I haven't mentioned until now, but this is something that would be somewhat hinted towards throughout the film. They go to the mayor and tons of other birds, and they tell him that these weird creatures with no feathers and are green and are trying to steal all the eggs on the island, and this entire society of birds is in danger. No one believes them. Not one. But Red interjects by saying they have proof. They show it to them, and unfortunately for them, the photos still had the lens cap on. So, of course, no one believes them. And to make matters worse, Red gets threatened with permanent anger management classes. And of course, this makes Red angry. And he storms off, mad at pretty much everyone. Stella, Chuck, and Bomb catch up with him and try to tell him that this is not something they could just blow off, but Red just doesn't care anymore. They need a way to tell everyone that they're in trouble, a way to stop these pigs. They need to tell someone. Then Chuck and Bomb start thinking of people who they could tell, someone who could believe them. They start describing heroic birds, someone who's tough, someone who's strong, someone who's mighty. And then Red thinks of the perfect bird, Mighty Eagle. Mighty Eagle is a hero known to the birds for his heroic deeds in many stories, and most prominently is one of the very few birds with incredible gifts and might that didn't come from a golden egg. And this makes him such an incredible hero to Red, personally, and convinces him to join the gang to find him. Although not many still believe he exists, some do believe he exists on Mighty Eagle Mountain. So, in order to stop these pigs, our heroes must climb Mighty Eagle Mountain in hopes to find Mighty Eagle. Now, as for Mighty Eagle, the character, I went out of my way to make some really big changes. He's a wimp. Okay, I know that's kind of how he was in the original film, but there are changes here. First off, Mighty Eagle, to all the birds, is known as a hero who has gone on dozens of adventures, which are all made up. The birds just made up these stories because of how incredible Mighty Eagle looks, and Mighty Eagle went with it. But Mighty Eagle never had anything to back up those stories, so he fled, flew to the mountains, and has been hiding out ever since. And this becomes immediately obvious when our heroes meet him. His wimpiness and self-absorbedness becomes obvious, and they can tell that he's basically a fraud. And this is very annoying for Red, who is really trying to be optimistic. And to make matters worse, thanks to Mighty Eagle's binoculars, the heroes see that the pigs are starting to steal the eggs right now, and they need to get down there as fast as possible. So Red asks Mighty Eagle to fly them down there, and he says no. And this just infuriates Red. He doesn't understand why is he like this. Mighty Eagle keeps dodging the questions and tries to talk more about himself. Red keeps asking, why is he acting like this? Why isn't he who he says he is? And until Mighty Eagle cracks and says he wishes he never was a hero, wishes he didn't have tons of stories, and wishes he couldn't fly, and worst of all, he wishes he didn't come from a golden egg. This reveals that the story of Mighty Eagle coming from a normal egg was also made up. this time by Mighty Eagle in an attempt to not be seen so much like a hero. And this devastate Red, and worst of all, would make him angrier than ever. And he would leave Mighty Eagle and his friends to go stop the pigs all by himself. Stella would try to convince him to not, but he's not listening. So he goes off and tries to stop the pigs. Stella tells Chuck and Bomb to go get all the birds who are currently at the Bird Island 80th anniversary party. Stella tries to catch up with Red, while Red is trying to stop the pigs, but there's just way too many of them, and they're getting around way too fast with their vehicle until he sees a boat they all seem to be going towards. He goes closer, and he notices the net that is containing all the eggs right next to the boat. So he goes and grabs onto it right as the boat is about to leave. Stella, still following, grabs onto, as Red tries to tell her that he still doesn't need anyone's help, as Stella tells him that he still does need her help. And as they're trying to break the net and get it down, the pigs notice and try to get them off, but they can't. So, King Pig pulls some levers, and all of a sudden their boat starts transforming. A weird rope wraps around the net, and their sails turn into a slingshot. So all the pigs jump on the net, push Red and Stella off onto the beach as they sling themselves right to Pig Island. Pigs make their escape, and Red and Stella are left on the beach. Then morning comes, and we're left with Red and Stella still on the beach. This scene would really go into the relationship, with Stella showing that she also was judged a lot for her gifts. I mean, come on. The power to blow bubbles? She was made fun of too. That's something Red never really knew. And Chuck and Bomb were also made fun of and judged for their weird powers. One of the reasons they joined anger management in the first place was so they can hopefully find someone who didn't judge them, which Red did not do. This was all stuff Red never even knew. Stella did feel lonely. She did feel judged, and above all else, she felt angry, just like Red. Then the birds come to their houses. They see all the destruction, they see all their stolen eggs, and all the birds come to the beach. They go towards Red, and the mayor asks, "What do we do now?" Red's surprised by this, but they all have no one else to look towards. Then Red looks towards Stella, Chuck, and Bomb, and he realizes everything he tried to do all kind of blew up in his face until he tried to do it with his friends. Everything just worked better with them compared to going in alone. So he asked them, "What should we do?" And Stella decides that they've gone too far to just give up now. And they all agree that they are going to go and get those eggs. The mayor asks, "How are we going to do this?" And they decide to reuse the boat the pigs left for them. They fix up a little bit, and they go to Pig Island to get back their eggs. This would be the climax of the film, pretty similar to the original. The birds using the slingshot they got from the pig's boat to try to get to King Pig's castle. None of them are able to make it except for Red, Stella, Chuck, and Bomb, who go in the castle and try to find the eggs and get them out of there. They do find them and save them from being cooked, but they get stuck and cornered on a balcony. Red starts thinking of what to do, but isn't too sure, until he looks in the sky and he sees Mighty Eagle. Red tries to get his attention, but he's a little too far away and he just can't hear him. So Red, annoyingly, makes the Mighty Eagle battle cry, which, yes, that joke is still in the film. Anyway, so Mighty Eagle hears his battle cry, and he comes, takes all the eggs, picks them up. Red, Stella, Chuck, and Bomb grab on as they're about to get away, but, of course, one egg gets loose and falls out, and Red goes back for it. The scene would also be pretty similar, like the original film, with them falling through all the floors and ending up in a giant basement filled with TNT. Then King Pig would steal the egg from Red, get a candle, and threaten to eat it right in front of him. And of course, Red again would get angry, and furious. But then, thinks for a moment, thinks about his friends, thinks about what he's learned from them, and realizes he's more than just an angry bird. So then, he gives up, tells Leonard that he's won. Game is over. Leonard starts bragging, of course. Then Red starts insulting him, saying how amazing that his terrible plan worked, how incredible it is that he was even able to think of these weird gadgets, let alone make them in the first place. And he keeps insulting and insulting King Pig until King Pig gets angry. He charges towards Red in blind anger and he trips on dynamite. Then, dropping the egg, Red picks it up, but unfortunately, King Pig also drops the candle he was holding, which lights a box of TNT. Red starts running, looking for any sort of eggs that he can find, until he sees a slingshot. He goes towards it. As Leonard tries to put out the TNT and fails, Red gets in the slingshot, pulls back as far as he can, and just when everything is about to blow up, he makes it. Barely. Then Red, Stella, Chuck, Bomb, Mighty Eagle, and all the other birds, they go home. Everyone is safe, all their houses are restored, the eggs are returned. Every last one of them. And Red, Stella, Chuck, and Bomb have decided to all move in. It's a little rough around the edges. Sometimes they frustrate each other, sometimes they infuriate each other, sometimes they just want to kill each other, but hey, what do you expect? They're pretty angry birds. And that's the video. Yeah, again, I didn't plan an outro, but I hope you enjoyed. Please like, subscribe if you want. There will be more to come, so don't worry. And yeah.